Marxist theory with traditional international relations theories. Today I want to explore Marxist international relations theory and how it challenges traditional theories like realism and liberalism. Marxism provides a distinct perspective on global conflict and cooperation by focusing on economic structures, class struggle, and global capitalism, while realism and liberalism emphasize power, security, and institutions. Marxism argues that economic interest and class division are the two driving forces in international relations. We will also examine how Marxism remains relevant in analyzing modern issues like global inequality, imperialism, and multinationalism corporations. Before we dive into Marxism, let's briefly review the dominant theories in international relations. Realism argues that states are the main actors in the anarchic international system. They pursue power and security, and conflict is unavoidable due to competition. Liberalism, on the other hand, believes in the potential for cooperation through international institutions, economic independence, and democracy, which can reduce conflicts and promote peace. Both of the theories largely focus on states as primary actors, viewing international relations through the lens of power, politics, and institutional frameworks. Marxism, however, challenges these assumptions by shifting attention to economic structures and class relations. Marxist international relations theory. Marxism derived from the ideas of Karl Marx sees international relations as a product of economic forces rather than just state power or diplomacy. Key assumptions of the Marxist theory include: first, economic structures shape global relations. Instead of focusing on states, Marxists argue that international relations are driven by global capitalism, where wealthy nations and allies exploit poorer countries and the working class. The second one is a class struggle defines conflict. The central conflict is not between states but between the bourgeois capital owning class and the proletariat. Wealthy capitalist nations and multinational corporations dominate and exploit poorer, less developed regions. Third one is imperialism and dependency theory explain how powerful nations maintain dominance. Marxist argues that modern imperialism continues through economic means. Rich nations maintain power over weaker ones through economic dependency, controlling trade, debt, and labor markets rather than the direct military force. Finally, Marxism offers a critique of international institutions, while liberals see institutions like the United Nations and IMF as forces of peace and cooperation. Marxist argues that serve as the interests of capitalist elites maintaining global inequality rather than addressing it. Key differences between Marxism and traditional theories. Realism focuses on power and security, arguing that states compete for dominance and that conflict is unavoidable. Liberals emphasize cooperation through democracy, international organization, and economic ties. In contrast, Marxism sees global conflict as a result of capitalism and class struggle, arguing that true cooperation can only occur when economic justice is achieved. Relevance of Marxism to contemporary issues. Marxist theory remains highly relevant in analyzing global challenges today. Let's explore how it helps us understand inequality, imperialism, and multinational corporations. One key issue is global inequality. Despite economic growth, wealth remains concentrated in the hands of a few. The global south continues to suffer from poverty while developed nations accumulate vast wealth. Marxism explains that through economic exploitations, where rich countries extract resources, labor, and profits from poorer nations, perpetuating inequality. Another major concern is modern imperialism and neo-colonialism. Instead of direct military control, powerful countries now use economic dominance to maintain control over weaker nations. Institutions like the IMF and World Bank impose economic policies that keep power a nation dependent on richer ones, benefiting global elites. Additionally, multinational corporations play an increasing role in global politics. Large corporations, rather than states, now wield enormous influence. Companies like Amazon, Apple, and oil giants often have more wealth and power than many governments. These corporations seek profit above all else, often exploiting labor in developing countries, avoiding taxes and influencing policy decisions in their favor. So, in conclusion, Marxist international relations theory provides an alternative lens for understanding global politics, focusing on economic power, class struggle, and capitalism. Unlike realism and liberalism, which emphasize state power and institutions, Marxism highlights how economic inequality and corporate influence shape global conflicts and cooperation. While some criticize its relevance, Marxist ideas remain useful in analyzing modern issues like global inequality, economic imperialism, and corporate dominance. Understanding these perspectives allows us to critically engage with structures that shape our world today. Thank you for your attention.